speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty.
The moment Diddy spotted 50 Cent walk into that courtroom, his entire demeanor shifted. Eyes wide, jaw tight, hands trembling beneath the table. This wasn't the composed mogul we've known for years. By day 3 of the trial, Diddy reportedly unraveled after 50 Cent openly declared support for Cassie. Witnesses said the meltdown was undeniable. What happened next stunned everyone in the room, and it might just turn this entire case on its head.
Shifts in Hollywood.
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, "Yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party." What is he talking about?
Incense has gone off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no. Take
Right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that flicky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more.
Say what you will about Sean Diddy, Combs, but for 3 decades, the man was a master of control. He built an empire not just on music, but on image, carefully sculpted, obsessively protected. We've seen him glide down red carpets with a flawless smile, handle hard-hitting interviews with ease, and walk through public scandal after scandal, without ever losing his cool. Remember that 2017 interview when a reporter asked about rumored payoffs to former employees? Diddy barely blinked. He smiled, straightened his suit, and deflected the question like it was nothing. Or take his failed restaurant venture in 2012. He still showed up to the closing night party like it was some kind of business victory lap. That's the Diddy everyone knew. Untouchable, unbothered, unshakable. But behind that smooth exterior, insiders knew a different version. Former employees whispered for years about rage issues. There were 2 Diddys, one former Bad Boy Records staffer told me off the record. The charming operator you saw on TV, and the one who threw phones across the room when things didn't go his way. But none of these stories stuck, because no one with serious clout ever backed them up. The truth was, Diddy didn't just maintain his image. He engineered it. He reportedly employed a 12-person team solely dedicated to managing his public persona. From rehearsed statements to choreographed reactions, every move in public was carefully planned. A former assistant told me he would spend hours practicing responses in front of a mirror before any major interview. He even kept a media trainer on retainer to run mock interviews and stage crisis drills, just to sharpen his ability to stay calm under pressure. But even the strongest mask can crack. Just days before the trial, the first signs of unraveling began to show. Outside his lawyer's office, Diddy was caught on camera snapping at a fan who asked for a photo. Then came the tense pre-trial press conference. He gripped the podium so tightly his knuckles turned white. Small moments, sure, but for someone who built his career on flawless public control, they were red flags. Celebrity crisis manager Tanya Rodriguez explained it best. For stars like Diddy, image is everything. It's a fortress. But under enough pressure, even fortresses fall. And when the cracks start showing, they spread fast. That's exactly what happened on day 3 of the trial. According to multiple witnesses inside the courtroom, Diddy completely lost control. Court reporter Marcus Jenkins said Diddy was visibly shaking during critical testimony. His leg bounced so hard it made the defense table tremble. He interrupted his own lawyer 3 separate times, growing more agitated until the judge had to intervene. And then came the breaking point. Diddy suddenly shouted during witness testimony, forcing Judge Harmon to threaten him with contempt charges. His face, witnesses said, twisted with fury. an expression the public had never seen on him before.
End of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he's gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh, shit.
Right?
Wait, so this is...
So Charlamagne said...
It's not true, but I told after he brought up this stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh, no, I don't know that was going on.
You know...
I can't wait to run into him again.
What you gonna say to him, Phil?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees you.
What?
I heard Diddy touch your butt.
Oh, man. Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look. I could find other things to do for money.
The rivalry between 50 Cent and Diddy goes back nearly 2 decades, and it's never been just about music. These two haven't simply disliked each other. They've taken every opportunity to publicly clash. Since the early 2000s, 50 Cent has made it his mission to call out Diddy, whether in interviews, radio appearances, or, most aggressively, on social media. There was the time 50 accused Diddy of being involved in Biggie's murder, or when he publicly questioned Diddy's sexuality, repeatedly mocking him online. This wasn't just a typical rap beef, it was deeply personal. So when 50 Cent walked into that courtroom on day 3, dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit and his signature sunglasses, the energy in the room shifted instantly. Court reporter Janelle Martin later said, "The poor silence was so thick you could hear phones vibrating in people's pockets." Diddy, mid-conversation with his attorney, froze. His head snapped up, and multiple witnesses described his expressions cycling from confusion to pure shock, and then to something that looked eerily like fear. No one expected 50 Cent to physically show up. Sure, he'd been trolling Diddy online. Since Cassie filed her lawsuit the previous month, he posted the hotel surveillance footage allegedly showing Diddy assaulting Cassie in 2016, captioning it, "Money can't hide who you really are." That single post racked up over 12 million views. Then came a string of Instagram shots, each hinting that 50 had more damaging receipts. But what the public didn't know was that 50 had already been in quiet contact with Cassie's legal team. A source close to the situation told me 50's camp reached out just days after the lawsuit was filed. He told them he believed Cassie and wanted to help however he could. 50's always played the long game, the source said. He doesn't make a move unless it's strategic. When 50 finally sat in the back row, the courtroom was frozen in tension. Heads turned back and forth between the two men like a live tennis match. Diddy kept glancing over his shoulder, unable to ignore his rival's presence, even as his attorney tried to walk him through evidence. Then came the bombshell. During the lunch recess, 50 stepped outside to a swarm of reporters and dropped a statement that no one saw coming. He wasn't just supporting Cassie, he was funding her case. Through his Junity Foundation, 50 announced he was backing her legal team and helping other women come forward. "This isn't about me and Diddy," he said. "This is about right and wrong." When news of 50's press conference reached Diddy, courtroom witnesses described an immediate outburst. He slammed his fist on the defense table, knocking over a water glass. Security moved in closer. His lawyer tried to steady him, but Diddy was visibly shaking. His composure shattered. Then the prosecution stood up and announced they were ready to present new evidence. Evidence they claimed would prove Diddy had lied under oath. As the screens lit up, no one in the courtroom was ready for what came.
You do some foul shit, like hating on, like, doing things with people I done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, so all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah, leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have more leftovers.
I was not offended by what I was offended by.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Whiteface.
You know, that's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's true.
In public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. Though. It's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. He's in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
The courtroom was already thick with tension after 50 Cent's shocking appearance. You could feel the air change, charged, expectant, as everyone braced for what came next. Then came the look on the prosecution team's faces. Calm, confident, just a hint of smug. They knew they were about to drop a bombshell. Your Honor, we'd like to present evidence item 47B, the lead prosecutor announced. The defense table shifted. Diddy's lead attorney immediately rose, clearly blindsided. Your Honor, we were not provided with any evidence labeled 47B during discovery. That's when everyone in the room realized something unexpected was unfolding. The judge called both legal teams to the bench. For nearly 5 minutes, they huddled in tense conversation while Diddy sat alone at the defense table. His eyes kept drifting back to 50 Cent, still seated in the back row like a silent specter. According to the courtroom sketch artist, Diddy was cracking his knuckles one by one, a nervous habit she said she'd only seen when things were about to go south. When the lawyers returned, Diddy's attorney looked deflated. The judge addressed the jury. This evidence will be allowed. It was only discovered yesterday. Then the prosecution explained they had obtained newly surfaced security footage from Diddy's Miami residence, dated April 2018. The courtroom screens lit up. The footage, though silent, was damning. It showed what appeared to be Diddy and Cassie in a hallway. He was pointing, yelling, his posture aggressive. He backed her against a wall. Then came the moment that triggered audible gasps. Diddy grabbed Cassie by the shoulders and violently shook her, then shoved her to the ground. Diddy reacted instantly. He jumped to his feet so quickly that his chair toppled over behind him. "That's not what happened," he shouted, his voice cutting through the stunned silence. His attorney rushed to pull him back down, whispering frantically in his ear. But Diddy's face had transformed, eyes wide, nostrils flaring, his chest rising with rapid breaths. A court officer subtly moved closer to the defense table, just in case. But what made this footage truly devastating wasn't just what it showed. It was what Diddy had sworn to the day before. "I have never in any instance physically assaulted Ms. Ventura, or any woman," he had stated under oath. There is no video or evidence of such behavior, because it never occurred. The prosecutor replayed that statement for the jury, side by side with the footage. Diddy visibly crumbled. He shook his head, muttered to himself, and eventually lowered his head onto the table. His attorney requested a recess. The judge denied it. "We will continue with the proceedings. Mr. Combs needs to maintain his composure." After court adjourned, a bailiff told reporters he had never seen such a dramatic shift in a defendant's demeanor. It was like watching someone unravel in real time. By the end of the day, word had spread. In Hollywood, group chats lit up. Celebrities started picking sides. Alliances were questioned. And just like that, the carefully constructed wall around Diddy's public image began to collapse, fast and loud, just like his courtroom breakdown.
Here's you being the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this, yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
is, might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn. They were and pillaged. This was what was going on. Right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh, shoot. Like, then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that. Look, you know what's like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because because
of the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
For decades, celebrities rallied around Diddy. He was the kingmaker, throwing star-studded parties, dropping chart-topping hits, and shaping careers. His famous friends showed up, collaborated, and defended him anytime the whispers began. When rumors swirled, the industry circled the wagons. That's the kind of power Diddy had. No one wanted to risk their status by speaking against him. But that loyalty cracked. And on day 3 of the trial, it broke wide open. The video footage of Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie and his meltdown in court did serious damage. But the real detonator was 50 Cent. When 50 publicly backed Cassie, he didn't just voice support. He gave others permission to pick sides. It opened the floodgates, an industry insider told me. Suddenly people realized they could support her without being the first to speak up. And they did. Within hours of 50's courtroom appearance, the celebrity world fractured. The quiet unfollows started almost immediately. Usher, who had collaborated with Diddy on several hits, quietly removed him from his following list. Mary J. Blige, once one of his closest allies during the Bad Boy era, did the same. Even Justin Bieber, who called Diddy a mentor early in his career, not only unfollowed him but wiped every photo of them from his social media. These weren't coincidences. They were calculated moves, industry distancing in real time. Then came the cryptic posts. Lizzo posted 2 words: believe women. The Weeknd shared a black screen that read, power doesn't equal truth. Even Drake, who rarely comments on industry drama, wrote, the truth always surfaces eventually. Some didn't bother with subtlety. Cardi B went live on Instagram and said, I've seen this behavior in the industry for years. We gotta stop protecting abusers just because they got money. She didn't name Diddy, but she didn't have to. And behind the scenes, the silence was louder than the statements. A member of Diddy's management team confirmed to me that major A-listers have stopped taking his calls. He's called Rihanna 6 times since the trial clip dropped, the source said. She hasn't picked up once. Similar stories are swirling about Beyoncé and Jay-Z, 2 of his oldest industry allies, refusing to issue any public statement of support. Meanwhile, Cassie's support is growing louder.
I don't know. Like, it's a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil. I can say it.
You still have the blackest face out. You still have to mimic his voice because he's like,
but his voice wasn't even that different.
And a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
I almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
You see we saw that video. It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New Yorkers know. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go. Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like,